Welcome back. You're watching State of Affairs on GH1 TV, and we're streaming live on gh1tv.com. And remember, the hashtag to use is State of Affairs, and we will be very happy to read out your messages. Before I respond, I'm getting a lot of messages from people in Kumasi who say that they have concerns with the passport office but cannot access GH1 TV. Well, here is the good news for you. We turned off our signal in the Ashanti region to do some upgrading. Tomorrow, guess what? I will be in Kumasi tomorrow. If you fufu, I'll be there as well. But tomorrow we are turning our signal back on, so everywhere in the Ashanti region and beyond, you'll be getting crystal clear signals of GH1 TV. So that's the good news for you. Tomorrow, the signal will be turned on. So that's why you're not getting back. Follow the discussion on social media. Of course, the hashtag once again is State of Affairs. And I'll go through a few messages here for you, Mr. Intrakwa, before I introduce you to my viewers this evening. El Dorado Mix says, acquiring passports in Ghana has become a serious problem. Daniel Odamboche, I went through a torrid time last year to secure my passport. In fact, the whole system should be re-engineered. Okay, there's more here. Avram Efiaku Ansa Yao says that, Nanaba, I'm happy you're getting the director of passports in your office. Please ask him if acquiring passport is only the reserve of the rich, because I've tried severally and cannot get it. Mensa Yao, is it possible that all these people really need their passports? Well, that's a very legitimate question as well. So, well, my guest tonight is Alexander Grant Intrakwa. He's the director of passports. Thanks for joining us here, Mr. Intrakwa.
Thanks.
Do you mind if I call you Alex?
Oh.
I should feel free.
Feel free to do that.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, you saw our earlier story from the passport office. So many people claiming they've been there for several hours. One gentleman, in fact, said that he actually pitched at the passport office at 10:30 p.m. yesterday. And as at 8:30 when Sewa Amehir got there, the man was still waiting to acquire a passport. What exactly is happening?
Thanks, Nanaba, and let me say good evening to your cherished viewers. Acquisition of passport in Ghana, the challenges. Somebody says he's gone there yesterday at 10 p.m. and by 8 o'clock he was still not through to the passport office. I believe I've spoken on several platforms to educate Ghanaians that it is not Accra that alone that we have a passport application center. We have one at the passport application center that we are talking about now, that's Tema Station. We have Kumasi, we have one in Sunyani, we have one in Takoradi, one in Ho, and then one in Tamale. 6 passport application centers, and then including the head office is 7, but the head office is not open to the public. Why would somebody travel from Sunyani to Accra to process his or her passport? It is just because of misinformation. People telling them that when you come to Accra, you get your passport faster than when you do it in Sunyani. But it is rather the converse.
Who is misinforming these people?
Those who claim to be facilitators.
The Goro boys.
That is how they call themselves. So they misinform them and give them all sorts of tuition just to cheat the system. And so in the process, they end up amassing people at the passport office and then getting an opportunity of extorting monies from them. And that is why I keep advising Ghanaians that Tema Station has a capacity, like all the other passport application centers. If the center has a capacity for 200 people a day, and we overwhelm them, we go there in our numbers, 500, 600, knowing very well that they don't have the capacity to contain such a huge number.
What number of people can you attend to in a day? For the capacity at the passport office near the Tema Station?
We have 200 people a day, yes. And even that, these are the ones that we would have numbered to enter the passport application center. And then they give room for those that may have to come in maybe on protocol basis. meaning government officials who are supposed to travel at short notice and that have to be processed. These are the situations that we have on the ground. And we always educate Ghanaians that they should not rush to the passport office for passport when they even know that we don't have the capacity to deal with the situation.
Okay, but I mean, if you don't have the capacity, the ordinary person who thinks that it is a right for him or her to own a Ghanaian passport would not be, you know, bothered about your capacity, because as far as he or she is concerned, I need a passport, so the passport should be given to me immediately. Have you taken the time off to educate people about the processes involved in acquiring a passport? If you haven't, can you just take us through it before we even get into the challenges at the passport offices?
Thank you, Nana. Nana, we've taken that trouble to even come out with a press release. And then any platform that I get opportunity to speak about passports, I do explain the processes to applicants. First and foremost, before one
and before you continue, I just got a message about what you said earlier about Sunyang. Elvis Afram Boateng says that I learned there is less traffic in the Sunyang office. I went there to get my passport and it wasn't as stressful as I see on TV from people who traveled all the way to Accra.
Exactly. As we speak, the whole passport application center, for instance, has no backlog.
None?
None.
But in Accra, it's choked?
In Accra, it's choked. And so let's take it from the processes for acquisition of passport. One has to satisfy the constitutional provision of being a citizen of Ghana before one is entitled to a passport, meaning you should be a Ghanaian by birth or by naturalization, by adoption, or all the provisions that are stated in the 1992 Constitution. And then when you satisfy that condition and you need a passport, you go to a bank where the passport form is sold. We have the 50 cedis and the 100 cedis. You go in there, you buy the forms from the bank. It is only at the bank that passport forms are sold, not through any individual. You buy the forms, you fill the forms out, and then you proceed to the passport application center. When you go there, you meet officers who will vet your form and then ascertain your nationality by personal interviews they will have with you to confirm that you are a genuine Ghanaian that has to be processed. Then the approval is given, you proceed to the data caption center, you are captured. We take your passport picture, we take your fingerprint, and then we take your signature. And then we give you a sheet that indicates your transaction number and then the time that you could check up on the passport again.
Right.
And then we ask you to leave. This is the process.
And how long is this process? All of this that you've mentioned?
Well, it depends on the traffic of the day.
Okay.
So I will not be able to say that 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, but it's in a day?
Yes.
It's all in a day?
We do it before you leave the passport application center.
Okay. Okay. But I want to go back to the traffic issue again. And these Goro boys who reports indicate are misinforming people to come all the way to Accra. Why have you not been able to get rid of these Guru boys? Because they are on your premises, they are outside your premises. People are claiming they're charging them 400 cedis, 500 cedis, some very outrageous figures to process their passports for them. I'm sure these are people well known to some of your officers.
Nana, it will be very difficult for us to deal with the Guru men alone. It is the job of all of us as Ghanaians to deal with the situation. We have educated everybody that when you buy the form, you don't have any payment to be made anywhere. The passport office has no cash point. We don't have any teller that anybody is supposed to pay any money to. In any case, those people that they pay the monies to, do they give them receipts? If you are paying for something that you are not giving a receipt, it means it is going to an individual hands. The government has not delegated anybody at the passport office to collect any money on its behalf. So it is the responsibility of all of us to say that when I buy my form and I get to the passport office, I would defy everybody and do my passport myself. But one thing we've realized is that...
Then it will mean probably staying in a queue for a long time or waiting for a long time, because there is a long queue, there's a backlog, and somebody is promising to get you the passport in a day or two, or maybe hours.
Those that are promising, why is it that they keep promising and yet people come crying to us that somebody has swindled them? If they can deliver. They cannot deliver. And some people are being, trying to be, I mean, I don't know how to put it, very crafty by exploiting them. Just the promise of getting you the passport overnight. And
do you suspect people within your office working with these girl boys? The
suspicion will be there, but until something points to somebody, you will not be able to deal with it.
Has there been any attempt to get rid of these girl boys? I mean, the system of girl boys.
I have on several occasions even mounted an operation with the National Security, the AMA, the police, trying to get rid of them. We get some of them, we arrest them, and then we hand them over to the law enforcement agencies. But the fact still remains that if we don't patronize their services, they will run out of business. That is what I keep saying. Don't use them, because even in the process of filling your forms for you, they churn out whatever information that is good for them to process your passport for you. And in the end, one day when you need the passport office's assistance on your passport, we will end up getting information that do not apply to you.
Okay, now let's come back to the passport itself and the queues at the Tema Station office in particular. I mean, if you look at the queue, it's really long. It's a winding queue. Now, you go in there, you drive in there to your office every morning. You've actually done well by giving them tents. That's a very sensitive gesture from you, very helpful. But you drive in there every morning, you see these people sitting there. You drive out, you see more of them coming in. What do you tell them? Do you stop to talk to them?
Nana, I have done that on several occasions. And
why are they still there?
That is what beats my imagination. I have personally engaged them, educated them, spoken to them. On one occasion, I went there around... I think 9 p.m. in the evening. I was still in the office when I got information that people had already started forming queues there. So I drove to the office, and then I engaged them and I asked them why they should go through that. For me, my vision for the passport office is that when I leave the office, because I would never be there forever, I will leave the passport office at a time. I may go on retirement and I may need a passport to travel. And my vision is that sitting at home, I should be able to apply for a passport, and sitting at home, I should be able to get a passport.
You say this because you're a well-traveled man, and you've seen how it's done in other countries. Is it possible, though, to...
It is possible.
Emulate?
It is possible.
It's here.
It is very, very possible. But how prepared are we as Ghanaians to allow change to be effected?
You think that if we try to go, embrace technological advancements for the acquisition of passports, people will not be
we are working on that.
Interested in that?
Whether we like it or not, we are working on it.
How soon, though?
And, well, I don't want to stick my neck out to give you timelines, but I can assure you that we've gotten far on that. We've gotten far on that. We want to deploy online. Applicants should go online, you fill your passport form online, you make the payment online, you take your appointment date online, and then you go to the passport office only when you have an appointment to go there. And we hope that when we introduce that, it would weed out or reduce the human intervention that we have now in terms of the guru or the facilitators. Okay,
now let's talk about your logistics at the passport offices. We understand that more often than not, your machines are breaking down. That is also leading to the queues outside.
Nana, I can assure you that some of those stories are fabricated.
By who?
By those who want to benefit from the services of those who need applications, passports.
Your machines don't break down?
Recently, we were just doing our routine maintenance. And by the time we got wind, it was all over that our machines had broken down. When even we had a technician from Germany working on the printers.
Did you communicate it?
Well, you don't communicate because you don't want to create any panic. The main machines are two. So when he's working on one is printing.
Right.
And so the system still runs. So you don't give out any information that will cause any panic. Yes. And just as we were doing that, people had already speculated that the machines had broken down and we could not print when we were still printing. And unfortunately, that coincided with a situation at the thermal station when there was a power surge that seriously affected the UPSs and even the server. And so the center lost the application that they had captured over some period that they were working on to transfer to the head office. And so they had to call the applicants to come back for them to be captured, and that alone was a stir. It causes a stir in the system, and everybody was panicking, and people were trooping to the passport office, the thermal station, as if after that period, no passport will be issued. In spite of the effort to calm them down, to let them understand that we were trying to do it gradually for everybody to be captured, people were just panicking.
Have you sought to find out why some persons are so desperate to get a passport?
No, that is one thing that beats our imagination, because as we speak, from January till date, we've issued over 83,000 passports.
83,000?
Yes. When I was coming to the studio, I made the technician check it for me, and it was slightly above 83,000.
Is it higher than the figure that was recorded around the same time last year?
Well, I should say yes.
It's more.
Because last year, for instance, we did about 206,000 ordinary
For the
passports.
whole year?
Yes.
Okay, and so far you've done over 80,000?
Yes.
86,000 you said?
Yes.
86,000 between January to date?
Exactly. And so you ask yourself, where are they taking these passports to? We issue them as we speak. If even you come to the head office, we have close to about 2,000 passports that have not been collected. And you go to all the other centers, we have unclaimed passports sitting there.
Why are they not coming for the passports?
That is also another question that we keep asking ourselves. They come putting pressure on the passport offices. We should get the passport done for them. We do them, and they are not collecting them. And then there's this other issue about people processing passports. They think we are still in the prehistoric time when we had this, what do you call it? You apply for a passport with your passport pictures and it's laminated and what have you. Now we are doing biometric. We take your passport pictures ourselves. We take your fingerprints, and then we take your signature. And all these are encrypted in your passport, the biodata page. So when you get a passport and you went to an embassy or a consulate to take a visa, and for one reason or the other, you are bounced, it means they have taken all your biodata. And the typical Ghanaian, when we go and we don't get the visas, we think we cannot use the passport any longer. We have to throw the passport away, declare it's missing or damaged.
And then they get a new passport because they've been refused.
Some of them even decide to change their names or change their date of birth.
Are you able to capture that at the passport office for those who try to change?
When you come back, the system is such that if you have done the passport before, even you coming to renew your passport, the moment we take your data, it pops up. Your fingerprint will match with your previous fingerprint.
And what do you do with them? I mean, if that's a very funny situation, that you go to the embassy or the High Commission anywhere to apply for a visa, you are refused, and you decide to change your name. What do you do to them? Do you try to get the police involved?
When we get, you know, those people are also smart. They know the requirements for acquisition of passport. Before you change your name, you should go through the legal processes. And so when the person has gone through the legal processes...
There's nothing you can do?
Yeah, that is it.
Right. So that is actually adding up to the huge numbers you're registering at the passport office. Okay, I'll come back to this issue pretty soon. But have you been able to sort out the challenges our friends and families abroad are encountering with their passports?
Yes. Thank you very much. And I think this is also a very good medium for us to share some of the efforts the Foreign Ministry is doing to address the concerns that were articulated to us by our colleagues in the diaspora. The Foreign Ministry came out with press releases to explain the situation and why we've not been able to meet their demands. We had the challenge of having the supply of the passport booklets from the Controller and Accountant General Department. Just last week, they were able to give us some supply, which we have also dispatched to the missions concerned. But in addition to that, the Honorable Minister directed that we should make put in every effort to make sure that our missions in Washington, New York, London, Berlin, Abuja, and Pretoria is processed or issued biometric passport. They had already acquired equipment for the processing of biometric passport. So we have gotten our technicians dispatched to 2 of the missions now. But for visa challenges, we would have gotten them to New York and Washington by now. We have somebody already in the UK working with our High Commission to make sure that hopefully by the end of this week, everything would have been sorted for them. And then Pretoria is also in the same situation. They've finished with the installation, everything all right. They are just waiting for the technicians from the company that supplied the equipment to them for the configuration of the printer to the software that is being installed. And then they will also be able to...
A rather very inconvenient situation for many of these people.
Yes, but we did some sort of an arrangement to alleviate them of that stressful situation. We agreed with the embassies that if for any reason any of the our colleagues out there who want to come to Ghana, they should give them the traveler certificates. When they come to the passport office, they will be treated as special cases, and then they will be issued with a biometric passport for them to be able to go back. And those who needed a passport for maybe work permit and what have you, a directive was given for their passport to be stamped with an extended period, so that even though the passport may have expired, the extension that is given with the endorsement will give them the opportunity to be able to process the relevant documentation that they wanted to go through.
Okay, let me read a message I got from somebody yesterday when I announced on my show that you will be on the show tonight. And it's the name on Instagram is Jew for July, I think. And it says that, my dear, passport, a very big issue for us outside Ghana. I posted my passport to the embassy in DC on in the second week of March. As of now, they haven't sent me back my passport, and I'm traveling to Ghana on the 1st of May. The problem is the workers do not treat you well at all on the phone. I've been calling for ages, and they will pick up and hang up immediately. I sent an email, and they replied that they are facing some challenges with their machines. So why couldn't they inform me all this while? And I understand it's not only in the US, but in Europe and all over the world. Well, yes, just as you've mentioned. Yes. But the treatment of the people with problems, because sometimes when you're so upset, you need to be treated properly. Well,
you know, that borders on human relations and customer care or customer service. Somebody may deal with those people differently. So you cannot peg it to the embassy. You can just peg it to the individual that was dealing with those people. But we apologize to them and explain the situation through the press release. And I'm sure that by now they are getting to understand that their concerns are being addressed. And then we are going to address it in totality for them.
How soon?
For the biometric, I can confidently say that before the end of April, those 6 machines that I've mentioned would have started issuing biometric passports.
And how sure are we that this will not recur?
For the supply of passport booklets, well, that's I cannot guarantee, because it is not the passport office or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that supplies the passport booklets. It is a Controller and Accountant General's department that handles that. But we have notified them earlier enough for them to understand that we have extended our issuance of biometric passport to our missions abroad, and for that matter, we will need more supply of the booklets. So I'm sure they will be able to deliver on time for us to be able to meet their demands.
Okay. Now, one question I've always wanted to ask. I mean, we know the passport office is responsible for the issuance of passports. Now, sometimes you speak to people at immigration service. They want to believe they make you believe that they can get you a passport. Foreign Affairs Ministry, they can get you a passport. I mentioned immigration already. Of course, in the passport office, we know that you are responsible for the passport, the issuance of passport. Who, apart from you, has the right to give anyone a passport? Can immigration get anybody a passport? Because there have been instances where I've read on Twitter that people are paying money to some immigration officers to get them passports.
No, but thank you very much. I'll use this opportunity to clarify the issue. The Ghana Immigration Services mandate when it comes to travel documents is for visas, and just recently they came out with the Parliament passed their bill and the President assented to it, and it has been clearly stated in that bill that when it comes to visas, they have that mandate. But when it comes to passports, the mandate, it is the Minister of Foreign Affairs that has the authority to issue passports. But the ministry doesn't work in isolation. The ministry works with so many agencies. Immigration is part of it. We have national security, we have the BNI, we have the police, we have the birth and death, we have the Controller Accountant General Department, and I think these are the institutions, and then the research department. These are the institutions that work with the foreign ministry when it comes to the issuance of passports.
Okay.
We have all of them on board because it is a security document that we issue. And so we have to make sure that all the security parameters are covered before the passports are issued to applicants.
Okay, but you are aware that you have people in some of the institutions
Exactly.
you've mentioned
Exactly.
who try to go behind you to get these passports.
We've been receiving quite a number of reports, and then those,
and what has been done about it?
those that we are able to nip, we deal with them appropriately.
How do you deal with them?
If somebody is from the immigration and the person is reported to us as having collected something from an applicant, one, we ban the person from coming to the passport office, and then if the person is working with us, we ask for the person to be withdrawn, and then we report formally to the Ghana Immigration Service. They have their own internal disciplinary measures to take. The same applies to all the other agencies.
Okay, now let me read this concern to you from Raphael. Actually, he had been complaining consistently about acquiring passports. He's the reason I actually got you to come here. He says currently the 5-year validity seems not to be helping, and I'm wondering why we don't want to take it back to 10 years. At least it creates a longer gap between renewals and reduces the burden and pressure on the passport office. I'd be glad if you could use your output to communicate and address the issue of passport acquisition. 5 years, 10 years. Why did we move from 10 to 5?
No, but I think when we were introducing the biometric passport, a lot of considerations went into taking that decision. We've operated the system since 2010. We've seen some of the challenges and then the concerns that have been expressed by a lot of Ghanaians or a lot of the passport holders. And this has informed the decision on the way forward for the ministry. As we speak, if you do recall, in December 2015, exactly on 7th and 9th December 2015, the ministry came out with an advert in the newspapers, Graphic and Times, requesting for expressions of interest from vendors who are interested in the security document printing to come out. We want to do a BOT type of arrangement. And before we even go into that, the committee was set up for various discussions to be made as to how we want it to be done. And one of the key issues that came up was the validity or the period for the passport to be valid. And we are seriously discussing it, and I believe when we come out with the next a type of passport, if I should put it that way, that issue will be addressed. And even to educate us more on that, we are currently going through the process of evaluation for some of those companies that have expressed interest in helping us to revamp the passport acquisition in Ghana, or the passport administration, and at the same time extending the biometric passport to our missions abroad and even to the remaining 4 regions that we have not covered. We are looking at a situation where we will come to that stage of people applying for a passport, and within 5 days or 1 week, they will get their passport.
How long does it take at the moment?
For now, the ideal time was supposed to be 2 weeks for the 100 cities, and then 1 month for the 50 cities. But over the years, it hasn't been, we haven't been able to meet the timelines the way we should have.
So then the people paying for the 100 cities are being ripped off?
I would not say they are being ripped off. You know, the system has been set up in such a way that if somebody paid 100 and another person paid 50, they would definitely get their passport before the 50 cities one will get their passport. And so these are some of the things that we are